Morning and welcome. It's Tuesday edition of the VOP. This morning on Voice of the People Television, I am Fina Chuku. Good to have you this morning for another interesting edition of the show.
Oh yes, it's another day, and we're back here to talk about issues concerning Nigeria, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. But we'll encourage you to come along with us. You can share your thoughts as well. Go to our YouTube page, click the subscribe button, click on the notification button, go to the comment section and type away. Be part of the conversation we're having right here on Voice of the People this morning. That's Voice of the People TV, VOP this morning. That's the program. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukwuma Okoro. Good morning and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning show.
And talking about those scintillating informations that we have, the topics that we have to extract today in today's program, as Tinubu appoints new DSS and NIN chiefs, Nigerians have lots of questions going on in their mind. They have actually questioned if state apparatus will still be used for intimidation of citizens. And while we are asking this question is that we have someone, a Nigerian woman, talking about how the present administration have, shifted the security, using security operatives now to work in their favors as insecurity also be there for Nigeria. And not just that, a group of elder statesmen led by Chief Emeka Anyoko has formed a consultation committee to advocate for a new people's constitution for Nigeria. Now, is it the constitution that have to have this problem? Is the constitution our issue, or are we having the leaders to be the issue? But anyway, before we dive into the discussion of the day, let's take a look at some other trending stories that made it to our radar this morning. Yesterday was the new NBA conference, and we have the VP, Shettima. Recall that last year he went for the NBA conference, and Nigerians were like, what is really happening? How come we're having a man, a vice president, putting on, so many people were saying something. In fact, social media was on fire over how he dressed to that event. And as the case may be, the vice president, Shettima, had the audience's speeches on Monday when he remarked that he never imagined he would be invited to speak at the Nigerian Bar Association conference again after the last year's sneakers saga. Shettima recalled that he trended on social media for nearly a month after being photographed wearing sneakers with loose-fitted suits at the NBA event. All right, we have a video actually to that, but anyway, I would like to ask, does the way we dress to events matter this time around?
Oh well, if that's the question you're posing, yes, it does. Yes, it does. The way we dress matters. But I think it's a good thing that he joked about it. It's gone already. Wore sneakers. He looked unique in that outfit.
Yeah, but let's get the video. We have a video about that.
Just before we won the elections and got sworn into office, no thanks to the NBA conference in this same Lagos, in this same venue, I pinned down and trended the internet for almost a month for wearing sneakers to your... I thought that will be the last time I will be invited or I will speak at your conference. However, it is revealing to see that wearing sneakers or not is not a requisition to be at NBA events. Actually, I was the hottest revelation. I could remember the famous Nigerian author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. When we were holding the conversation up here, she was busy taking my pictures, and I was wearing my Mango Park suit, I had to retrieve my...
That was the voice of the Vice President, Shettima. He was talking about how he dressed to that NBA conference last year, putting on a Mungo Park jacket and all that. But I asked this question earlier, does the way he really dressed to that conference last year, it doesn't really matter as the vice president of the country. Moses saying he does. What do you share?
Yes.
No,
It really-
What I said
The way he
was the way you
dressed
dress
to
to
occasion
events,
matters.
not the way he dressed to that event. The way he dressed
Yes.
to that event did not matter. But the way you dress to events
Matters.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, Moses, I think it matters to the extent that it was clearly a corporate event, an NBA conference, and he was invited as one of the keynote speakers. You know, I think his dressing was more out of tune with what we call corporate dressing here. Like on Fridays, we dress down. You know, on a Friday or Thursday, you dress down. You can wear your jacket and sneakers and all of that. But this was clearly a corporate event hosted by the Nigerian Bar Association. You know, an umbrella organization of Nigerian lawyers, and he appeared there like looking like more out of tune with the event. But I think what the NBA has done is, pat on the back and say, go home, but sin no more.
But for me, I don't really
think
share.
it matters.
Yeah, I don't think it does. You shouldn't feel like say so. Now,
Personally.
I think we are
No,
the
but-
ones getting this whole thing mixed up. For example, if we would have such event now being hosted in India, the Indian men coming for that particular event to dress representing them,
No,
their
but
culture,
that's
and also,
analogy.
and
That's
also
analogy.
in
That was
Asia,
not-
they also do the same thing. Now,
No,
why
but
should we
don't
come
mix
back
it.
again to?
It was like
Fina, you're mixing
Western-
it absolutely. You're mixing things up.
Yes.
You don't wear English and you're traditional.
yes.
You don't mix
you
them.
don't. You don't
But
mix them.
I have actually
Slow down,
seen most
slow
of
down,
them,
slow down.
you know, tie their...
Slow down. Slow down.
Okay.
You don't wear English. The illustration you just gave, an Indian person wearing their traditional attire
Yes, sir.
will not mix it with an English attire. It's not fashionable.
I think I'm looking at the comfort here.
No, it's not.
That
about
is-
comfort.
no, that's
If
what
it's
I'm
comfort-
actually saying.
If it's
My-
comfort, he could have gone with the slippers.
But I was the only
My
the
own
only
view-
challenge I have actually is that for me, he would have gone for Agbada, be on his Babariga.
Exactly.
Which with
you know, but you saw him
the cap
wearing a
and
suit
every
and
other
a
thing.
tie and a sneakers. It was out of tune.
Personally, I don't think that was out of tune.
No, it was. But,
I think
I
it
mean,
was-
you imagine
it was- it's-
somebody like Trump, Joe Biden, when he was vice president of Obama, showing up in a suit and a sneaker.
Somebody like Trump would
Would do it.
Yeah, have you done it?
Would wear.
Have you seen
what
He
he
wears.
wears?
He wears. Well, I'm not really taking.
When he
time
goes to- when he
look
goes
at
to
his-
polo and golf.
I'm not taking time to look at his feet.
No, when he
But-
goes for
but
polo and
when
golf,
he goes for
he wears
events,
his jean
when
and
he-
sneakers and a t-shirt.
when he goes for events, he wears
someone
his
can
suit.
convince me
wears
that that dressing was informal.
Someone can't
in a
convince
formal
you.
event.
Okay.
It was clearly informal in a formal event, so it was out of tune with the event.
So can someone convince you watching us?
That's your view.
Yeah,
But, you
that's
know,
my view, Ben.
we share different views. Fashion is moving. Fashion is not static. As far as I am concerned, you can wear sneakers. I think the problem.
Probably
The
I'll see
problem.
you tomorrow turn out in your suit and sneakers. And
I was going to wear sneakers today. Actually, I was going to wear sneakers
you
today.
want to be
see?
our own Shetima here. You want to be our own Shetima.
I was going to wear sneakers, but I
And the
changed
fact
my
that,
mind.
you know, and the fact that the VP said, and Chimamanda was taking my
Pictures.
Yeah,
you know,
because he trended. He
He
trended.
trended.
Yeah, I
And
don't
he
want to
was
make.
like, I was all over the internet and all of that. So
Yeah, it's
but I
a
think
good
he
thing.
made- he's a-
Publicity
he-
is publicity.
Exactly.
Whether you like it
a
or
vice
not.
president looking for publicity.
But
Well, everyone looks for
But I like
publicity.
the fact too that he made the occasion yesterday lively.
Yeah.
You know, his take on it made the occasion lively, and you know, people were like, okay, it's okay. Like I said, sin, go home, but sin no more. It's like what the NBA did to him.
all right, it's still the VOP this morning.
Still on this issue, yeah. I think it's basically the fitting of what he wore. You know, the sneakers, the tie was sort of longer than normal. But
Is it the Mongo Park jacket?
both the Mongo Park jacket and the Mongo Park tie. But personally, I have absolutely no
Because
problem
I like
with the
a
sneakers.
sense of fashion. Probably
Yes.
I like you to turn out like.
No, I have
Vicky
absolutely
Shetima one
no
day.
problem.
Before the end
Just
of
want
this
to
week.
emphasize this one.
Before the end of
I might
this
surprise
week.
you.
Let's get your own
Am I
opinion
surprised
as
you?
regards this one we're talking about in the studio. Like Moses Riley said earlier, just get to the social media handles. On all the social media platforms, we had VOP TV Live. And on YouTube, we had Voice of the People TV. Tell us what you feel or how you feel about what we'll be talking about this morning. And this is how far we can go on this. After this quick break, we'll be looking at the front pages of the national dailies Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. Looking at the front pages of the national dailies this morning, we have This Day newspaper, the Daily Trust, the Guardian newspaper, the Nigeria Tribune, the Punch newspaper, and the Daily Independent. I would like to start off with the Daily Independent newspaper. This morning, we have the banner headline on the Daily Independent to be year-end festivities. Despite odds, Nigerian airlines get more aircraft to delight travelers. And we have riders to the board headline to be Air Peace. United set for additional 10 aircraft. Overland Airways, Ibom Air increases frequencies. And we have other headlines to above the nameplate. FG bars under 18 from writing West African Senior School Certificate Examination and NACO exams. OK's 8 varsity for Nigerian undergrads in Togo and Benin Republic. CBN lifts ban on standard lending rate, pegs interest rate at 31.75%. Banks to earn 25.75% on deposits with CBN. And we have a pictorial there, and this pictorial happens to be, we have the third man in Nigeria, talking about the president of the Senate, and they took that picture during the NBA conference. Beside that pictorial, 32.2% GDP growth excites Tinubu. Analysts seek improvement in critical sectors. You can get that story on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. NNPC expands global footprint to Japan, China with LNG supply. That is also on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Edo Guba, appeal court nullifies running 14 PDP primaries. Edo Guba, appeal court nullifies ruling 14 PDP primaries. That is on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And the IOC's divestment, fresh update emerges as Agip Equinor gets ministerial approvals. IOC's divestment, fresh updates emerge as Agip Equinor gets ministerial approval. Osun confirms 2 cases of Mpox. Osun confirms 2 cases of monkeypox. I'll have another bold headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper. Importers look to local dairy industry on back of rising FX rates. Importers look to local dairy industry on back of rising FX rate. And the bottom strip headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent this morning, it reads, Tinubu appoints Muhammad DG NIA, Ajayi DG DSS. They can get that story on page 7 of the Daily Independent. And that's all we have on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
All right, then let's quickly go to the Punch newspaper now. From the Punch, we have the banner headline here reads, FG to shut errand fuel stations as petrol hits 1,000 naira a litre. Queues persist in NNPCL major marketers' stations as PMS shortage worsens. And then quickly, right beside the nameplate, a very tiny headline there, tiny characters. PDP jubilates as appeal court restores Igodalo's candidacy. Claim I'm working for APC, PDP, laughable. Akpata. All right then, going further down. West African Senior School Certificate Examination. ASU, NUT differ as FG bans under 18 candidates. Kidnapped doctor. Patients groan as NARD strike grounds hospitals. Kidnapped doctors. Patients groan as NARD strike grounds hospitals. And then underneath the pictorial there, 136 Europe-bound African migrants rescued at Spanish ports. Former Punch editor to present a book on digital economy. ASU protests LASU members dismissal. Brands VC enemy. Nigeria's first Olympic medalist, Mayegu, dies at 85. All right, these are the headlines from the Punch newspaper.
And from the Punch newspaper, we move over to the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. And the major headline reads, the Patriots steps up move for new Nigeria constitution. And I have the following riders to that news item. Sets up 17-man advocacy committee, killer heads team, to begin consultations with NAS members, other stakeholders. Anyako speaks on Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Sudan, Canada, reiterates why now is best time to have new constitution. You can find our story on page 15 of the Tribune. And just above the nameplate, you have Appeal Court reaffirms Yodalo as Edo PDP governorship candidate. Says delegates lack locus to challenge primaries. That's on page 16. That's on page 16 of the Tribune newspaper. Tinubu removes Bichi, appoints Ajayi as new DSS DG. That's on page 2 of the Tribune newspaper. Names Mohammed, Ambassador Mohammed, NIA head. And just below that, you have the window headlines. Amotekun has come to stay in Ondo. That's from Governor Ayeda Tiwa, the governor of Ondo State. Nigeria's GDP grows by 3.19% amid oil production drop in Q2 24. That is quarter 2 of the year 2024. That's according to the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics. And that story is on page 6 of the Tribune. UBA to host business series built to last for African founders, entrepreneurs. UBA to host business series built to last for African founders, entrepreneurs. That's for African founders and other entrepreneurs. And that's on page 6 of the Tribune. There's a pictorial there, I think it's about the AMCON. The AMCON management held an event somewhere. And beside that, you have resident doctors begin 7-day strike. That's on page 4. Police arrest 11 as masked men in NDLEA military uniform hijack multi-million naira tramadol in Lagos. You can find that story on page 3 of the Tribune. Residents of Plateau, Zamfara, Niger mining communities live in fear over constant bandits attack. That's on page 27 of the Tribune newspaper. AMCON intensifies efforts, enlists international access tracers. And Nigeria's investments with Oando, Mobil, ENI Ajib, others in accordance with PIA. That's coming from NUPRC. And that will be all from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
All right, I think that will be all we can take in for the newspaper this morning. We'll have to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look straight down into the major conversation for this morning, which has to do with a call, by a Nigerian, talking about how Tinubu appoints the new DSS and NIA chiefs, and Nigerians are questioning if state apparatus, will still be used for intimidation of citizens. We'll look at this when we come back after this quick break. Stay with us.